Steven, listen to me. Tell George that he's gonna need to do the shoot just the way that I told him. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta do a video. All right, talk to you later. Always some drama with Berg and Lucas.
So listen, I'm just hoping you guys understand
test, check. What is up, Think Media TV, helping you move further, faster in media? I'm Sean, and today I just want to talk about getting the most bang for your buck, the highest ROI, return on investment for lenses for your DSLR, which is essentially adapting Nikon lenses to your Canon ESO body. In the midst of this whole thing, my goal is to save you money. Because as you know, the reason money is called dough is because we all need it. You'll get that later. So if you're anything like me, you saw the huge potential of DSLRs coming out, making just amazing video, beautiful video. And so you went out and you got a 7D, or you got a T2i or T3i, or you got a 60D, or you got some other brand of DSLR. And then you were like, already, I started out forking out like the $700 or the $1,400 or the $1,600 just to get the body. And you're left with just one kit lens, or all you have is the kit lens, and you're like, shoot, now I need to buy all these accessories. I need to buy, other lenses to try to accomplish some of my filmmaking goals, my promo making goals. So if you're ghetto like me, and by ghetto I mean you think that putting batteries in the refrigerator recharges them, then you're always trying to save money and do some cool stuff. So let's jump into this thing. So check it out, Canon 7D, one Tamron lens, zoom lens, 17 to 50, and it has the vibration control or whatever. Just this lens was like 700 bucks. I'm gonna show you how to get 4 lenses and an adapter for way cheaper than it would cost to buy just this one lens. Furthermore, the limitation of only having a 50mm is it's simply not enough zoom, especially when you get into outdoors and events. So I discovered that a way to get really good, almost definitely better than any kind of off-brand Tamron or even lower-end Canon lenses, is to take old Nikon manual lenses and adapt them to your Canon body. So these are the lenses that I picked up, and I picked them all up, including the adapter, for under $500. So this is basically what I did. I started looking up the focal lengths and the lenses that I wanted. I went for prime lenses because when it comes to filmmaking, primes are what you shoot on anyways. I bought a bunch of Canon manual lenses, FDs, we'll talk about that later. And then I realized that was a bad decision, and so I sold the Canons, got some Nikon manual lenses, and that's what I have now. Now first a few cautions when it comes to adapting a Nikon manual lens to your Canon camera. One, people would say, is that it's possible that these lenses would have fungus or mold. And if your manual lenses did have fungus or mold and you were to keep them with the rest of your kit, then that might get into the rest of, and into all your expensive gear, your expensive equipment, and all stuff like that. Big caution, I'm not liable if that happens to you. Now, secondly is, if you made the mistake like I did, who just got excited about adapting old manual lenses to a new EOS body, you thought, hey, maybe I can do that with my Canon FD lenses. Yeah, sorta, but I wouldn't do it. There's infinity focus problems, means you can't focus to infinity in a real big way. I put some on with an adapter that I got, and they just didn't even work. So I would say, man, if you've had some success with that, comment below, but just did not work for me. So I regretfully bought all these Canon lenses, and then I luckily was able to find somebody who could use them for older bodies. Then the next thing you want to consider is infinity focus, and what that is that when you focus to the very furthest part, so that it just focuses off into infinity, does it or does it not stay focused? Sometimes when in infinity mode, you have to just back it off just a tiny smidgen to keep it in infinity focus. Now with the adapter that I'm recommending, it pretty much does get perfect infinity focus, but there is a little play almost in every adapter, so it's kind of hit or miss. But if you're doing shallow depth of field stuff and you're planning your shots, who cares? So the lenses that I wanted to get, so I wanted to get prime lenses to be able to shoot some proper, beautiful videos. And so I got the 28 2.8 for, I think, less than 40 bucks. I got the 51.4. Let's just take a moment to hang out on this lens and think about this. Now, you've probably heard of the nifty 50, 1.8 for the Canon, plastic lens, pretty good, 100 bucks. This same lens, I think I got for about 90 bucks. All these off eBay. Spectra coated, that's what the Nikkor SC means, and that's what the cool blingy purple stuff is, I think. And you go all the way down to 1.4. Now, check out this video by some dude right up here. that compares the 50-1.2 and the 50-1.4 Nikon manual lens, adapting it, and compares results. And it's pretty insane because for about $100 and your adapter, you're compared yourself to a $1,600 lens. If you want some super artistic, cheap, hustle and flow lens, you want to get this 51.4. It's the most bang for your buck to get that wide open of an aperture on a prime lens without starting to spend $200, $300, $400. Then I bumped up to the 105 2.5. So you're at 2.5 aperture on the 105 focal distance. Beautiful lens. Have seen incredible results with that guy. Can you see me? Can you see me? $100. And then lastly, I got this, which don't let appearances fool you. The Nikkor 80-200 fixed at f4. Now, not a super fast lens, but 80-200, really sharp. I've messed around with the cheap Canon lens, the 70-300, and it looks like garbage. And it's like it has image stabilization and stuff. It's like $400. And so to get all these, you know, is basically just the cost of that one lens. Focus is, you know, super funny. It's like one of these type of deals. You can get tack sharp focus. It's the Nikon quality glass. And again, you can, I think I got this one for $80. And now here's the big kicker when it comes to what adapters to get. There's all kinds of different adapters. There's some with glass in them to try to correct the optics so you can achieve infinity focus. My philosophy is if you add more glass to it, you're just gonna be losing quality. And so best results that I've seen and did tons of research is this Fotodiox Pro adapter. This is the one I would recommend. I think it's only $70 on Amazon, shipped free. There is some cool stuff that even if you have one, you may not know. There's a little screw in here, and you can take a small screwdriver and tighten it down inside of here to get more tightness on your lens. So let's say we want to take our 51.4. We simply put the hole up onto the deal, click it on, red dot, circle dot on here, boom, and there we are. We have adapted the lens to the Canon. You want to see how much play there is? Can barely, I can tell some play. Right now, there's barely any play. Let's just crank puppy up here. No card. Like we need a card. Obviously, you're gonna be dealing with a manual lens, but I guess at this stage, I could say, you know, you're like, well, why don't I have autofocus? Well, we're talking about this for video. Did I take me this long to mention that? I mean, you can use them for photos, but this is gonna be video. You're not gonna use autofocus. As far as your aperture goes, what's the big deal with having a manual aperture? Besides that, you can control shutter and ISO, and you're good to go. So boom, 1.4, I'm at ISO 200. So there you go. Focusing on the table, we're focusing on the lenses, and there's some shallow depth of field, 1.4. This is the weirdest thing. I'm like watching myself watching this. Kabam! Like under $500, all these lenses, the possibilities are endless. It's all on eBay. Now let me just mention a few things that I learned when studying these for a while. Is that a train? Since when do we live by a train track? All right, so you're like, I'm gonna go on eBay, I'm gonna buy these lenses or whichever ones I want. Here's some key things to remember. Now, obviously, you need to learn eBay status and hustle and flow anyways, like good ratings and don't get tricked by somebody out of the state or stuff like that. But here's the things you specifically want to know when considering manual lenses. Number one, is the aperture click well, and is there any oil on the blades? Like those clicks? It's nice, huh? And you can actually see the blades in here, and you can determine if there's oil on those puppies. You know, you like that? The next one is this focus is smooth. I actually bought one lens on eBay. It said everything was all good. I got it, and it was like ghetto. Not cool. Sent it back though, it was all good. So you want to have smooth focus all the way from one end to the other, especially if you're doing video, bro, sis. You know what I'm saying? Haze and fog. I mean, not just haze and fog on the outside, but like, is there any haze or is there any fog all through and through? Fungus, which is like these little like creatures that like attach themselves to the optics and they just grow, and then I guess they spread and create these like kind of fungal type things, kind of like the guy in Super 8. The next thing would be mold, which is not fungus, but just moldy lenses from being in old bags and sheds and wherever else. So you want to watch out for that. And then obviously scratches. So if they don't specify every single one of those categories, make sure to just at least ask them so you have grounds to return it or whatever you need to do. It was kind of a lot of work. It took me a while, it took me a season to collect all of these and to buy the right ones and to consider each buying purchase. But that's the deal. Adapting Nikkor lenses to an EOS body. Could you adapt these to some other brands and do whatever? Probably, but I don't care because I use Canon. So that's about it. You want to save some money. You want to get a lot of bang for your buck, high ROI on lenses for your Canon camera. Go do it. Get some Nikons. If you have any questions or comments, comment below. This is Think Media TV, helping you move further, faster in media. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button because we're saving you more money than Groupon. Did I just spit? Also, just thumbs up or thumbs down, be honest, but the video was sick, so why wouldn't you click like? If you have any ideas, thoughts, questions about anything, shoot me a message, comment below, let's make some videos. Anyways, I gotta go. Steven and George want me back on the set ASAP, so I'm gonna give them a call. We'll see you guys later. Yeah, Steven. Yes. Okay. I'll be there soon.